is the sound of our bonus episode. I'm so excited.
Bridget is very excited.
I'm just gonna keep doing this for a whole episode.
Please don't. You're doing that and I'm looking for a leak in my Dr. Pepper. That's where we are right now.
Yes, this is a lightsaber from Galaxy's Edge 2019, December 2019. I was there for the grand opening of Rise of the Resistance at Disney World. Yes. Everybody admire it. It's metal. I built it myself.
If y'all don't know, Bridget loves Star Wars more than pretty much anything. She once made an entire PowerPoint of why Reylo is the best thing ever and sent it to me.
If you would like access to that PowerPoint, just let me know, because I definitely still have that saved on my drive.
And it's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. She makes some compelling arguments.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I say that as a person who does not like Star Wars very much at all.
I braided a Padawan braid in my hair. I'm wearing my Rising Moon's Galaxy's Edge shirt. I drew on my lovely Anakin Skywalker scar like I did in 7th grade when I loved him. My very first email was Anakin Hayden Lover, LVR, at AOL.com. And yes, that was my AIM username too. So, to say I'm a fan is putting it mildly.
My first email was sock fetish. My mom made it for me. I know. And I didn't know what fetish meant because I liked socks a lot. And she was like,
I didn't know what lover meant until my mom told me.
And that was also my AIM username. Sock fetish.
Shout out to AIM.
I'm surprised that I didn't get a bunch of weirdo creep boys sneaking up in there. Because, come on, dude. Like,
hey, my first internet boyfriend was from an Aragon chat room, so...
You had an internet boyfriend?
You know, yeah.
Tell me about your internet boyfriend, Bridget. Oh my god.
His name was Eric. I think it might have been 8th grade or 9th grade. 9th grade, because it was for the movie. The R.I.P. Aragon movie.
I know.
We had so much.
Tried so
we
hard.
had so much hope. We've had so much hope for you.
Fun fact about me and Bridget is that we both love Aragon. We've bonded over the horrors that happened to this movie so much, and more than anything, we would love a TV
But I
series.
do own this special edition of the movie because I cling to what little I can.
Obviously, yeah.
For that franchise.
We almost did a book club that was just the two of us reading Aragon because the rest of our book
because
club
everybody
didn't
dropped out. It was so funny. I was like, I'll read it. And then everybody else was like, I don't have time anymore. And it was like, oh, okay, we just read the entire Twilight series, but we don't have time for Aragon.
I was so sad. I was like, I took all of your suggestions and, no, crappy suggestions. And y'all didn't want to read Aragon, which is a gem. It was basically what all of them were saying they wanted, just not the ones they said they wanted.
But it's just not Harry Potter. We were going to expand the horizons of sci-fi for them.
I'm over Harry Potter. I want Aragon back. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at in life. I just want Aragon back.
We should still do our book club.
We should. I'm in. I'm game.
I still want to name like a pet Saphira or a kid. I don't know.
A pet or a kid. Please don't name a whichever one. Saphira. That is awful.
I might have a kid named Fiero. Like, we don't know.
Oh, I would love that actually. I love Fiero.
I might have a kid named Anakin.
I broke into Wicked today and I don't know why it happened. It wasn't even like a good Wicked song. It was the Shiz song, like their school song. And it just was in my head. I don't know why it happened, but I was triggered by something.
Is it because of the Kristen Chenoweth TikTok where she's like knocking, like, can I come in? Because she says, I can play a goat. And it made me laugh.
Someone said something, and I think it was the dialogue that's right before they sing Shiz. And I don't know, dude. It was just the weirdest moment. But it triggered me hard. Shout out to Wicked.
I'm really excited. Really excited for that to be a movie because I love that show.
Hopefully it's good. Dear Evan Hansen was good though, so I don't care what anyone says.
You're gonna die on that ship.
You haven't watched it yet, so you can't judge it.
I still haven't. No, but I'm just saying you're gonna die on that ship. Got it.
Well,
watched. You know what I watched this weekend? Lamb. I watched Lamb.
Lamb is out.
It's not good.
No,
it's not good. I was so hyped. So hyped. A24 thought it was going to be some body horror. It's like marketed as like it's going to haunt your nightmares. It's the same thing that happened with The Witch. It is not marketed right.
You know, I didn't super care for The Witch either. It was pretty. It was very pretty.
Yeah. And that's how Lamb is. But it's really pretty.
Will loves The Witch. Like, he's got a Mondo poster, like that really expensive one, and we framed it and everything.
Oh, yeah,
and it's beautiful, and he loves it.
The only thing I liked about The Witch was when Black Phillip was like, "Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?"
Yeah.
And then it ended. And I was like, oh, I thought we were getting into this. And then it ended. Like, Paris got me that pop of Black Phillip because I love Black Phillip. But that was
my favorite thing to do to figure out what kind of person the people I hang around is to pull out an apple and just to be like, would thou likes to live deliciously? And if they respond correctly, then I know they're cool. And if they're just like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go cry. Bye.
My favorite is when they like turned it into a Taco Bell meme and they're like, wouldst thou like to live, Mas?
I haven't seen that.
Like 2 years ago, I saw that "Wouldst thou like to live, Mas?" Yes, and I was like, "This meme is really directed at me, isn't it?"
Oh, that's so funny!
Isn't that
oh my
great?
God! So TikTok is getting a little crazy, dude. And I was scrolling through, and their ads are so targeted. I just flipped through, and it was like, "I make playlists for broken people," and I was like, "Oh my God!"
Stop! Like, my For You page literally could diagnose me in 2 seconds. It's insanely creepy, and I'm like, this is all just based on my likes?
Man. It really hurt. It hurt me deep.
I kind of just want to have my therapist log into my TikTok and be like, scroll for 10 minutes and you'll see
this is what's wrong with me. Can you fix it? Have you gone to see your therapist yet? Have you had your first appointment? How was it?
I did. I had my first appointment. She was trying to put me in like the like kind of unconscious, relaxed state, and it took me like almost a whole session to get there. She's like, "You're a very high strung person." I was like, "Yes, this is part of the problem." She's like, "You do not relax." And I was like, "No, never. If I'm not moving or running, it's just like I break down. I am moving. I must." And she was like, "We're gonna work on that." So she gave me a CD with like her voice and like calming noises, and so
that's gonna be weird.
We'll see.
It'll be fine, but it's a little weird.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have the headphone wrapped around your neck again?
I do not. It's in my lap. I learned.
It's down I can like hear it. I don't know if I'm just being loud or if I'm just hearing voices. Maybe it's that orb thing again.
I don't know, but it ain't me. It's literally like between my legs.
Because I was looking at the volume bar and it wasn't you, so that's why I was like,
maybe my my lady bits are saying hello.
Don't go there. I knew it. I knew we were going there.
Just like
as soon as you said that. What is wrong with you?
I don't know. A lot.
I don't know. You know what's wrong with me? That I can't get cinnamon Coke.
No, I'm trying. We'll see.
Dylan's
gonna help us.
I'm gonna be on a first name basis with a guy I don't even know. He's your Coke product distributor.
Dylan's a cool bro. Dylan. He's gonna help us out.
Dylan, I need you to help me. I don't care if it's from 3 years ago. I've drank old Coke. Like it's if it's sealed, it's good. I just need my cinnamon Coke.
We're working on it. I can get you a Coke and just put like 80 cinnamon sticks in it and shake it.
So it's flat?
Yeah. That's the best part about cinnamon Coke. Or did you hear about people who drank freaking hot Dr. Pepper? That's like a thing. To have a hot Dr. Pepper, they just warm it up and drink it in a mug. That's a real thing. That people do.
This is like the one time I really embraced that I'm very American, and I really liked iced drinks.
I don't love
very
iced
American
drinks because I have very sensitive teeth. I always have, so anything too cold bothers me. But I like normal temperature to drinks, tepid drinks, if you will.
Room temp.
Yes.
Room temp.
Like, I bought this, 2 hours ago when I was still working. 3 hours ago? I don't know. I left work at like 10,
See,
so I don't remember what time I bought it. But I bought it before I left and let it sit so that it would become a temperature that is acceptable to drink. It's who I am. I didn't open it. It's still like fizzy and delicious. I just like room temperature soda, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I would have put it in the freezer to make it cold. I've got like iced Red Bull right now.
Very rarely, if I'm having like a day, or if I'm out in the wilderness of San Antonio, and I go to like a taco truck, or I'm just having a good time, then I'll want like a freezing cold Coca-Cola. Or if I get a fountain Coke, I want it to be as cold as humanly possible.
Oh. Why does fountain Coke taste so much better than like fountain Coke?
Well, I know why McDonald's is better. It's because Coke actually makes them their own like special Coke that's just for McDonald's, and they have like a nitrous system for it, so it comes out extra cold. And also, the straws at McDonald's are slightly thicker, so you get more.
I knew the straw.
Of the Coke on your tongue as you go, so you get like an instant flavor. But yeah, McDonald's has like their own.
But I didn't know about the other stuff.
Coca-Cola recipe that is given to them by Coke. Don't ask me why I know that, because I don't know, but I know that for a fact.
That's like your fun party fact?
Yeah, no, my fun party fact is, well, do you want to hear it? Do you want to hear my fun party fact? It's about penises, but it's about whale penises.
No, I don't. No, that might be what the Loch Ness Monster is.
I've told you that fun fact, right? Well, no. That's not what it is, actually. I'm going to tell you anyway, because it's really fascinating. So, the Kraken. Yes?
Yeah.
The reason that is a thing is because way back in the day, when all the pirates were having their pirate stuff, they would see these weird tentacles in the water, and they were like, whoa, we've never seen a tentacle like that before. But blue whales...
That's exactly what the Loch Ness Monster is.
That's hilarious.
I learned that from, and that's why we drink. That's what it was.
Well, blue whales...
sticking out of the water.
They mate in threes, and they mate towards the top of the water. So while one's getting it on, the other one's just waiting to the side, and its little hoo-ha is just waving hello. And everyone thought that was the Kraken. So there are no sea monsters. There is just penises.
Genitalia. Yeah, the more I have learned about whales and dolphins, the more I've been disturbed by them.
Dolphins rape, and I hate them. When I was a kid...
They're so violent, and most sharks are, like, killed and injured by dolphins.
When I was a kid, I loved dolphins. Like, I went from horses to dolphins, like, pretty fast, because we lived in California, so I was like, I love all sea life. Now, sea life is terrifying, and I never want to be in the ocean, ever. But
I used to want to be a SeaWorld trainer and then, like, watch the news, like, twice and was like, no, I'm good.
But then I watched the news twice and realized, nah, it's fine.
Nah. And, like, dolphins always scared me because, you know, there was, like, that, which you think back now, it's kind of dangerous. It was, like, that petting pool of dolphins and you fed them.
They still do that.
They're, like... But they were, like, telling you, like, don't leave your fingers in there because dolphins have zipper-like teeth and it just will take your finger off. And I'm like, feel like this is an insurance hazard.
Yeah, I'm just not about sea creatures at all, any of them. I do kind of love sharks. I think they're weirdly adorable. It's because their eyes are so derpy, because they're just like these big old black dots, and I love their little spiky... That's probably why I like Kirishima so much, is because of his little shark teeth.
I watched Jaws too much.
I've never seen Jaws. So, you know this. You know this. I've told you this before.
I must just dump it out of my head every time because I
feel like every time I tell you I haven't seen something, you just lose your mind. I'm sorry.
But Jaws...
Yeah, I'll watch it eventually.
We worked for a theater.
So?
I like penguins. I think they're cool sea creatures.
Dana loves penguins. It's like her favorite thing.
They're cute.
I like the Pittsburgh Penguins. Hello, Sidney Crosby, who will never listen to this. I love you. You waved to me once at a hockey rink because I was the only fan of the Dallas Stars arena screaming at you because y'all were playing badly and y'all lost and you thought I was funny, so thank you for that. I died a little bit that day. In a good way.
Oh.
It was a good die. Sorry. I'm just...
Speaking of death, do we want to start talking about Star Wars?
Oh yeah, I guess so. Let's do that. That sounds good.
All right. So Star Wars Visions. Star Wars released their first Star Wars anime. Now we've had Star Wars animated shows before, but never in the style of anime. So this is a big deal. They're not canon. They're little one-offs, and they're all by different studios, which is really awesome and very different tonal shift for Star Wars.
There are two of them that I wish would just be a whole show that I could watch.
I have a few like that too, yeah, that I'm like, this would be cool.
Actually, there are three now that I'm thinking about it fully. There are three of them that I just need to be a full anime. And I don't like Star Wars. I never really have. I did when I was a little kid. I loved the prequels when they came out. And then I'm just not a sci-fi person, so I really didn't think...
Team prequels.
They are the superior Star Wars. I agree with you in that. I do. So, sorry, everybody. Suck it. But I don't like sci-fi things, so I didn't really think I was going to enjoy this. And I also wasn't sure how the sub was going to be on Disney Plus, because it's not like they just have English and Japanese. Like, they have every language under the sea. And the sub was phenomenal. My only problem is that Disney Plus's captioning is huge. It's giant, so it's kind of hard to separate it. And it's a big black bar, so it's not just it's just the words.
I hate that they do the black bar. I don't. There's no way around it either. I hate that. I've had that issue for, I think I was watching Mandalorian, and I had
in some of the episodes, the timing was off on the captions, so you get a flash of one, and I had to rewind. But it was only a couple of times, but I'm like, if you're gonna do an anime, Disney Plus, I need you to get it together a little bit. But other than that,
get those captions time-stamped.
Great job. I will spoil this and say,
that's good.
Yeah,
Start out on
I
a high
really enjoyed watching this, and it made me want to watch Star Wars. Ugh, I know. I might actually watch season 2 of The Mandalorian now. Which is
Lord, I'm so
probably
excited.
The highest praise I can give this, is that this made me actually want to watch, which I hate. I loved every single episode, except for one, which I didn't hate. I just was kind of about. And I'm excited to get into it. But first, I want to guess.
Really
I want us to guess what the other's favorite episode was.
All right. What do I think yours would be? I feel like it's either Toby or La Pinocho.
Nope, not even close.
What is it?
It's the twins. I loved the twins.
I almost said twins, but then I didn't, and we'll get to my opinion on
I
the
think
twins.
yours is the elder.
Let me look at which one that one is. No.
No?
No. It's a good one, but it's not my favorite one.
Was it the 9th one? I can't say the name.
I really like the 9th one, but it is not my favorite one.
Shoot, which one is it?
My favorite one, I think, has to be the 9th Jedi.
The 9th Jedi is the... so there are three. There are three that I just think should be a whole freaking show. The first one being The Duel. I would watch a whole 10,000 episodes of that. And then...
This is why I think you'll like Mandalorian, because there's basically the duel in an episode. Ooh. It is very Kurosawa.
Ooh, okay. I I'll probably have to rewatch season 1 because I wasn't paying the most attention. But I will because I liked it that much, y'all. You'll need to watch this. And then the twins, I would again watch a whole saga of that. And then The Ninth Jedi, I think, would make an amazing TV show. Just like, so good. So good. It was all
See,
so good.
with you saying that, you're gonna really enjoy Mandalorian season 2 because Twins has like kind of a few episodes in there. It's not about like twins, but it's got the same vibe in a few episodes, and I loved Mandalorian season 1, but Mandalorian season 2 really cemented their like writing and where they're going with direction and tying into Star Wars lore, but still being very independent.
Well, shoot.
So, all right, episode 1,
I have
duel.
the summary. Should we do that thing? Should I read it? I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, read us
Disney
our summary.
Plus does so much better with their summaries than Netflix. Really good little teasers here. The summary is: a wandering stranger with a mysterious past defends a village from a powerful bandit. Yeah, it's great.
So immediately, I read that description and was like, all right, kind of like Seven Samurai, Magnificent Seven feel, which is great because as soon as this started, it is absolutely in honor of Akira Kurosawa and his film legacy. Because if you haven't seen any works by him, they're classic film staples. Like if you ever study film, you study him. And Magnificent Seven is one of the really most popular titles. But there's also another title called Yojimbo. And the title card entrance is straight up from that movie. And some of the sets, that's one thing I love about Visions is they do Star Wars sets combined with also Japanese architecture, and they just morph them.
Instantly excited to watch this as soon as the duel started because the animation was so familiar, and it took me so long because I was like going through all this stuff in my mind because it's this weird mix of like 3D animation over 2D cell animation. And it's got like that classic film crackle. And then I realized that it's because it's the same animation from the opening to all of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure shows. And I was like, what is this? Which is really weird because a lot of animation studios will just do intros to anime and then someone else produces the anime. And they did only the introductions to all of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. And I was like,
that's really interesting.
Heck?
Okay.
Right? Instantly dope.
Yeah, I really liked it because like it's a different animation style. It's more like 3D looking animation, but then I love that it was like sepia toned, and so it was kind of showing like an old film.
Well, it's the studio that did it's a Kamikaze Doja. And they actually, that's what they do. Like their whole thing is they're a half-breed studio, and they specialize in the CG blend with the 2D cell animation. So that's their everything. And their company motto is "Compromise is death," and they're very, very serious humans. And they're also pretty new-ish. A lot of these studios are new. This one was actually founded in 2003. And they really haven't done a whole lot except for JoJo. And they did Batman Ninja, which is dope. Batman Ninja is a great movie.
Hey,
if
that's
you haven't
popular.
Watched it, excellent.
I was gonna say I've heard people talk about that. Yeah. So I love that. So we open up and we're in this old city vibe, and even the droid has a straw hat on.
I love that droid so much.
Really love that.
I loved all the droids in this. All of them.
Yeah.
They're all baby. That's what I've learned. All droids are baby.
There's one that I was like, okay.
Okay.
I like that. I'll get there. I like that their hair was more like samurai kind of hair rather than, just like Star Wars. Because, I mean, the whole thing about Star Wars is the Jedi are samurai. That is what George Lucas derived them from. So it was really cool to see that come full circle now. And so we see old Star Wars droids that we're familiar with, ship noises, all that. And then basically, it's a really simple storyline. I mean, it's the duel. That's basically what you focus on. So we have these outlaws coming to attack the city. They want, like the leader. This kid's gonna go with them instead. And I wrote, like, it's got a Seven Samurai kind of vibe before I was like, oh, this is straight up just Kurosawa. And so the villain is a Sith Lord. And I wrote that she has an umbrella.
That's the best lightsaber I have ever seen. If I ever had a lightsaber, I want an umbrella lightsaber. Just straight up, dude. That was so dope. And then when she just took it off and threw it down, I was like, yes.
And then it was just a normal saber, and I was like,
I'm here for it.
I like in most of Star Wars Visions, the lightsabers are drawn more like samurai
just the best
swords, which I thought were really cool.
Honestly,
yeah,
it's everything.
And it's really interesting that her one blade powers all of those blades. So a cool thing about Star Wars Visions is we get really into Kyber Crystal lore, which I love Kyber Crystal stuff. I mean, like when you build a lightsaber at Galaxy's Edge, you choose a Kyber Crystal, and that's what color that powers your lightsaber. And Kyber Crystals were in like the old original Star Wars Clone Wars, like 2D animated series in between episode 2 and 3. They had a whole episode about the temples that had the Kyber crystals, and they're spiritually powered by the Force. So cool. So I mean, they haven't been addressed much other than like Kylo Ren had a cracked Kyber crystal, so that's why his blade was like that, and that's basically it. And then we never really got addressed anymore. But Kyber crystals are so cool to talk about, so I was really happy.
I didn't know I needed Kyber crystal lore in my life, but every time they got into it, I was like, yes, I'm here for it.
I think you would love Star Wars if you read the extended universe stuff, which I think is what's hard, is people just focus on the movies, which are great, but they're like the tent poles. And what a lot of people love about Star Wars, like, you need the tent poles, yes, but it's everything else that branches from that is so cool that makes us obsessed
after
with this,
watching these franchise. I did think, I'm like, why don't I like Star Wars? Because it's sci-fi forward, but it's more of a fantasy than a sci-fi, honestly, if you're looking into it. And I think the real honest reason that I'm not into Star Wars is because the fans suck sometimes. Like, you can't just go in and be like,
they're like hardcore gatekeepers.
You can't just go in and be like, oh, I really enjoyed this. Everyone's just gonna fight you. And I don't want to fight all the time. Sometimes, sure.
See, Episode 3 is my favorite Star Wars movie, and I have grown up now fighting because of that. And, like, I will defend Hayden Christensen until I die. I'm like, George Lucas didn't have his wife editing the prequels, so there wasn't as great dialogue. Carrie Fisher did some dialogue editing, but he wrote these as, like, Shakespearean, like, politics and romance stories. And so when you switch your brain to those Shakespearean type, like, era novels and stories, it makes sense. That's why they talk the way they do. They're not going to talk like you and I because they're not in the same universe as you and I. And so when people always complain about that, and like, his acting was so horrible, I was like, he acted so much with his body. Like, imagine, you're like 21, you're married, your wife's having children, twins. You can't tell anybody about it. You can't tell your best friend who, like, raised you. And, like, he's acting amazing. And so,
I understand.
Yes, I understand your problem. I've been there. I understand. The Star Wars fandom can be absolutely atrocious. Look at what happened with Last Jedi,
podcast
which is
Gateway
an
Star
amazing film. Gateway Star Wars. This is our whole bonus series.
Please no,
you're welcome.
I'm not doing that, but I did enjoy these. Go ahead.
So then we go, like, so we see, she's the Sith Lord, and then he comes out and he tells the guy, like, hey, when the timer goes off, this droid needs to be ready, which is really fun. But he pulls out his blade, and if you know anything about Star Wars, like, when your blade's red, you're not good. But it kind of, like, messes with that. Like, does your blade change? Is it because of your Kyber crystal? What if you originally were a Sith Lord, but what if you kind of are a gray Jedi area? Gray Jedi is, like, you know, the Jedi have gone too far. It's just like politics now. Like, I don't stand with any side. I'm going to look at things by situation and by person. I don't want to affiliate to a party and bend my morals. And that's what Grey Jedi basically are. And so when he pulled out the red saber, I was like, interesting, because he's fighting for the better of the community. I don't know what his justification is, so I'm thinking he's more Grey Jedi.
That reveal of all of the Kyber crystals at the end, I was like, I need to know literally everything about you immediately. I need like 10,000 word fan fictions right now of just little short snippets of all your crap. I love you. That's all. So good.
It's great.
And
I also like that when she took off like her helmet thing, she had an afro. And so I think that was really important, because if you know anything about like kung fu films, is they're really important in Black culture. And so I think that was kind of like an homage to that. And I really love that, you know, you can incorporate that too.
And it's always nice to see an evil murder woman on any screen. Anytime there's a total kick butt lady just being awesome, no man in her way, I love it.
This is why you need to watch the other Star Wars cartoons, because one of Ventress is like one of the coolest villains, and she is a bald lady with face tattoos, and she's got like this gray skin tone, and she talks so cool. Like, she was in the in between episodes 2 and 3 animated Clone Wars, and then she's in the other ones too. But
you know I love a bald lady.
So cool.
That's all you have to say.
I know. See, this is actually my gateway. Yeah, like you said, this is gateway Star Wars.
Did you
and
expect
this is just
me
how I get
to
you
like
in.
it?
That's how I get you
or
in.
did you think I wouldn't?
No. I was a little nervous about this. I was genuinely like, it's because it plays
you don't
into
know how hard it was
lore.
for me not to text you after the duel and be like, this is excellent. You don't know how hard it was, dude. I was just sitting here like,
Why do you think last weekend I was like, have you watched Star Wars Visions? Have you want to record? You want to record? Have you watched it? Because I had like powered through all of these in one day and was like, it's so amazing. Good. The music in this episode is also
the
great.
Music in all of it
was very different.
They do such a good job of keeping to the original score, but also adding so much culture and life into the worlds that they're building. It's so good. And I love how they all start on the same because there's some stars and then in different animation styles and pan down. It's just so wonderful.
And we don't do the classic Star Wars scroll, which already sets it apart from other things, which I liked. But I mean, so there's like a straight up like I think call back to episode 3, my favorite. So like Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting on Mustafar and the lava, and they're on that like piece of metal, and that's what the log feels like to me. They're balancing on the log and fighting, but instead of like lava, it's water, and I was like, oh, that's a fun little opposites. But one of the most beautiful shots is the lightsaber behind the waterfall. I loved that. It was so pretty. And the music even is kind of episode 3 when they're on the log. You know, that is Battle of the Heroes by John Williams for that whole fight scene and the battle on Mustafar, and it's just it's so good. So yeah, and then you see kind of like a temple. It's a mix of, you know, like I said, the Japanese homes and old architecture, but then also with the Star Wars like little lines. If you're Star Wars, you know what I'm talking about, like the little slotted lines. And then I love that he gives that kid a red Kyber crystal, and he says it wards off evil.
Do they?
Because one day maybe the kid's gonna... Kyber crystals, no. But I think he gives it to the kid as protection, like that one day the Force is going to call out to him, and he's going to know what to do with the Kyber crystal, and he's going to make his own lightsaber.
Yeah.
Because if you are in touch with the Force, which anybody can, I will not go into midichlorian counts, but I will argue that on another day, that the Kyber crystal is like a spiritual crystal for you, and the Force is going to help you, and you're going to learn how to do it. It's I love this stuff. So, a cool voice acting thing is Lucy Liu is the bandit leader, and so there's some times where it's straight up for the dub version, where it straight up feels like her role is like Lady Snowblood in Kill Bill.
The bandit leader in the Japanese, I watched this in Japanese. I think I said that at the beginning. I don't know. I got carried away with Kyber Crystals. Her name is Akino Watabe, and she is Midnight in My Hero Academia. And she also does the voice of little baby Izuku Midoriya. She's also Tamari in Naruto, the original series, and everything past it.
Okay.
And she's Go Masoka in Free, which is a very fun anime about swimmers. We will probably watch it eventually.
Cool.
All right.
I'm sure we will. Did you have anything else on this episode? That's basically all I
just have voice actors. I'm gonna give all the voice actors shout outs because they are dope.
Okay.
Ronan, he's played by Masuki Terasoma, and he's actually in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, but we haven't met him yet, so I'm not gonna tell you who he is.
Okay.
And he's in Naruto too. He plays Hidan, who's like this crazy cool ninja.
Okay.
And then the village chief, there's only 3 people that really talk in this. So the village chief is played by Yuko Snape, and she voices Boruto Uzumaki from Boruto, so Naruto's son, which is cool. And also, this was so good for me. One of the first animes that I have like a clear memory of loving and just being so attached to is Eureka 7. And she plays Renton Thurston, who's the main character of Eureka 7, and it's so good. But yeah, that's really all I got. I told you about Kamikaze and all their stuff. That's really it. It was dope.
That's awesome. It's really interesting. I didn't know that studios sometimes only do the intro and then another studio does
a lot of these
episode. That's
studios
really cool.
too, I've noticed they specialize in music videos. So they do like CGI music videos and stuff, which has been really interesting. I didn't write a lot of those down because literally all of them have so many credits in music videos, but not this one, but the next one. I think it's Studio Colorido, I think is who did the next one.
Okay.
Yes, Studio. They specifically pride themselves in being one of the like biggest Japanese music video creators around right now. So I don't know why that's a thing.
Huh.
But yeah, Batman Ninja, and then they did the first 3 JoJo Bizarre Adventure openings, and it's dope. Cool.
That's cool. All right, so that leads us into episode 2, Tatooine Rhapsody. This is not my favorite episode, but I do appreciate it for so what it is. Like, I think kids could love it.
The summary is: a band with big dreams must save one of their own from Jabba the Hutt and Boba Fett. Very straightforward, very cute. I loved it, but I truly believe, even though this is an anthology, every anime series needs to have one episode that's just for fun. You know?
It was a fun season episode. It did feel like the like school fair day at My Hero when we break into a big song. You're a hero
absolutely too. Loved this episode, and it was just so cute and so fun. It gave you all the excitement. It gave you a really fun group of friends. It gave you a banger song. Your song was in English, yeah? When you watched it? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't positive because sometimes they don't do that, but the Japanese song was a bop, and I love J-Rock.
That makes me want to listen to it in Japanese to see how it's different.
You need to. It's so good. And so I was gonna wait for the voice actors, but the main character Jay, who is the singer, he's voiced by oh my gosh, where is his name? Hiroyuki Yoshino, who is Present Mike in My Hero Academia, and he actually sang the song in the Japanese version, which is really cool.
I love Present Mike.
I know! It was so cute.
Well, in the dub version, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he sings it too.
I feel sad that I missed that. I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
We might just have to, like, trade on this episode to go watch each other's version, because Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Jay. And then, this is what I really thought it was more kid-oriented, but also Bobby Moynihan is, what's his name? I can't think of that character's name. I wrote it down somewhere. I don't know.
Which one?
But Bobby Moynihan is the one that gets captured by Jabba. Geezer. So, and Bobby, if you know anything about Bobby Moynihan in real life, he is a huge Star Wars fan. Him and Taron Killam, they were both on SNL, and they wrote those Star Wars sketches when Adam Driver would come on, and they invited him to Disneyland when Galaxy's Edge opened and let him come, like, first VIP, go see it before everybody else. And they like were posting on Instagram just losing their mind. So really happy that Bobby got a big spot in this.
Really
and now we just need Taron to come and get a spot in this. Yeah, so Bobby's a huge Star Wars fan, so I love that he had that role. And he does a lot of, like, he did the voices in the new DuckTales. Is it DuckTales?
Woo.
The new version? Is that what they made?
Yes.
No. Yeah? So he's one of the voices in that. And so I just love Bobby Moynihan. I want him to be in everything. So this episode is called Tatooine Rhapsody. So we go back to a familiar planet. We see some familiar characters, Jabba, Boba, and Timura, who plays him in Mandalorian, and in the prequels is also the voice here for the English. I don't know. So it was nice to hear the familiar voice of Boba. And yeah, it's a very different Star Wars vibe, because it's kids, and it's kids in a band, and they owe money, and, you know, Jabba's being normal Jabba, and if you owe Jabba money, he's a huge crime lord, and has a huge syndicate. I mean, look at Han in the originals, like, if Boba takes him in, no, Jango, no, Boba. Gosh, I do this every time.
I don't know.
I always get them backwards. Okay. It's Boba. Because Jango's his dad, I believe. Yes. And so, I mean, Han got frozen in carbonite, so Jabba's a big deal. If you owe Jabba money,
is he a big deal because he's so big?
So, how dare you?
You're welcome.
How dare you? So, since we're in, like, a canon planet with canon characters, I wonder where they wanted this to take place in the timeline. Because I kind of was getting vibes of... Because where they're at is, like, in episode 1. It looks like the pod racing stadium.
Was a Jedi, right? So he left that to be in this band, which I love him for. I follow your dreams, kids. I love that so much. But so they still existed. So that's something.
Yes, but it's like, do they exist? But there's 2 times you see, like, I guess Jabba's alive. So this would be prequel times, because when we see him in original times, Leia kills Jabba in the last movie. So, yeah, so this would be prequels. I'm timelining in my head. So I'm guessing this is probably in between episode 1 and 2, if we're seeing Jabba and it's at the pod racing stadium and we're on Tatooine, which is really fun. But Timura Morrison, that's his last name, is Boba. What I write down is in all the episodes are the classic Star Wars lines. Like, there are certain little catchphrases that are in every Star Wars movie, and I love them, and I can pick them out all the time. Like, I've got a bad feeling about this. It's in every Star Wars thing, and I love that. And so they said it in this. Jay was once a Padawan, because you see the braid and he has the saber. It's a really big deal if a Padawan cuts their braid. It either means they're done being a Padawan and they are, like, full-on Jedi, or
to start a rock band.
Left the Jedi.
Obviously.
Yeah, to start a rock band.
And use the Force to just float into the air and be the happiest of all the little boys. Rock on.
Rock and roll, man. Rock and roll. So the band is called Star Waver.
Love it.
Cool.
Love it.
Cool. So I said it's either the pod racing stadium, but then I kind of, like, saw the pillars in the background, and I thought it was maybe the execution stadium from episode 2. I was debating it, so I don't know. But they're on Tatooine, so it's the pod racing stadium. You're welcome, Bridget.
Good job, Bridget.
But I like it's more kid oriented, but then you get the Star Wars like adult feel because like they just hold up with some guns when the kids are like getting ready to get executed, and then they get saved by doing an encore. But there's a lot of famous Star Wars creatures, which I love because like a lot of them are designed by ILM and Frank Oz. And so you see them animated and, you know, just like old, good, feel good times. And I love puppetry and I love practical effects. So seeing them pop up, like some more obscure ones. But yeah, and then basically they get saved because they go to save Geezer. They play their song. The audience loves it. And Jabba lets them live. And at the end, they're doing their encore. And it ends with like Boba sitting there like...
Out. Having a good time.
Doing his head bobbing, and I was like, all right. And then that's the episode. It was a nice little happy, fun filler episode.
It's a good little de-escalation from the first one. And it was just really fun to watch. I'm going to throw in my voice actors, then I'm going to go into studio stuff. So not only did the voice actor for Jay do President Mike, he's also Iwazumi in Haiku, who's a really big character in like the first 2 seasons. And yeah, that's all I wrote down for that. So that's all I cared about. I am also in love with Iwazumi, so there's that.
I'm in love with President Mike, so
Perfect.
We're good.
I love President Mike. Presentation Michael is the best human. Anyway.
And a wonderful English teacher.
A lot of the other actors, though, they really don't have any credits yet. I wrote their names down. Okay. I'm probably not going to give them to you. I know that's awful, but whatever. Except for Lan, because he was in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. He played Dulcetto, who is the dog boy that we just watched get cut in half by Fuhrer Bradley. So I know it's so sad, right? But he's also
great
in Attack on Titan. He plays Nile Dock. He's an older dude, and he's a jerk. That's all I remember about him.
Is he the one that saves Eren in the beginning when his mom gets
I want to say yes, but I'm not positive, so no one quote me on that. But he's a very familiar face.
Nile from Attack on Titan.
No, who is he?
Was the former commander of the military police brigade, Erwin Smith's friend, husband of Marie Tog. Zeke transformed Nile into a Titan. Nile just was always kind of that jerk. I didn't like him when Eren's on trial. He was
I knew he was a jerk. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
I knew he was old and he's a jerk.
It's fine, yeah. We don't like him. I mean, Erwin liked everybody because he gave everybody the benefit of the doubt, but we as fans, we cannot like him.
We don't like him.
Great voice actor.
Yes. So this was done by Studio Colorido. I think it's Colorido. It's actually a really young studio. It's only 10 years old. It was founded August 22nd, 2011.
Okay.
And it was done by Koji Yakamoto, and he came from Twin Engine, and they do a couple of things. They're not like big, but they're big. Like they did Dororo, which is Dororo. It's a weird one. It's about like an alligator man. It's very good. Their key principle in their company is to make a place where people involved in anime can continue to work peacefully and to contribute to the further development of Japanese animation culture, which is cool. And the name actually translates to rich in color. It's a really small studio. Like it's not a lot of people. Like I want to say it's like 18 people in total that work at this studio. Huh. And they haven't done any animes yet, but they have made 2 absolutely just banging anime movies. The first one is A Whisker Away. These were both done in 2020. A Whisker Away is adorable. It's on Netflix, and Bridget, you would love it. It's about a cat, and you have to watch it.
I think someone suggested that to me. It sounds super familiar.
It's so stinking
It might have
cute.
been you.
It's probably me. But the second one I'm super stoked about. It's called Burn the Witch, and it's this tiny little manga series, and no one was going to pick it up. They were like, it's not going to be anything. So they made a 2-part anime movie, and it was epic. And because it was so good, they're actually in talks about making it a full series, and that could potentially be their first series, which would be dope. And the last thing I have is that song in the episode is called Galactic Dreamer, and in the Japanese it's performed by a band called Nanope, and they're a very small band, but they are on Spotify, and if you enjoy it, you should go listen to it. That song, unfortunately, is not on Spotify, but their band is, and that's a Nonpe, Nanope. And it's great. They're good.
Cool. We'll put their little name down here.
In the doobly-doo. I'm sorry, I used to watch a lot of Vlogbrothers.
In the
in the doobly-doo.
Down here. It's thundering here right now. I was like, what is this noise? It's raining and thundering outside. And lightning.
Very, very frightening.
Interesting.
Oh no, I lost my spot. Oh wait, I found it.
Okay, so that leads us to episode 3.
My favorite episode. This is the one I was most excited about. I just want to say that going in, because I saw the image, like the still image, and immediately I said, that is Trigger, because Trigger made Promare, and that's all I knew. I was like, I love Promare. It's a great anime movie. That has to be Trigger or I'll die. And it is, so I feel good about it. Anyway.
Look at you. So dub voice actors, you only really get 2. Do you know who they are?
I know that is Alison Brie. Yes?
Yes.
I don't know who plays Karn.
Carr is Neil Patrick Harris. And so in the beginning, when he has his helmet on, I was like, it doesn't really sound like him. And then when he took his helmet off, I was like, it sounds very much like Neil Patrick Harris now.
Oh my god.
But love Alison Brie. I loved her in Community as Annie, so I was super excited for her to be in this. But yeah, so the twins were on an Imperial cruiser / Star Destroyer. It's basically these twins that are created by the Sith, which is really interesting because this really pulls into the rise of Skywalker. How life is created, cloning, we had all those Snoke clones that were like failed Palpatine clones. So they've created these twins. They're biologically engineered, and they're Sith babies. And so I was like, this is really interesting that it pulls from this, because Anakin is maybe born from the Force and Shmi Skywalker. So like he could have been that too, and he's the chosen one that brings balance to the Force, and the Skywalker trilogy, not trilogy, Skywalker series, and I guess he doesn't necessarily bring balance because then we got the sequels. But in 1 through 6, Anakin is the chosen one. So it's really interesting that they're playing on that. It kind of looks like a black Kyber crystal in the beginning, which is a really big deal in Kyber crystal lore, and a really big deal if you go to Galaxy's Edge.
Why?
And why? Because it's red. So it's like one of the only Kyber crystals that are different from the crystal color. It burns red. It is it's supposed to be way more powerful. But it ends up being red later in the series, so I don't know if it's just like a shadow, but it looked black in the beginning. Galaxy's Edge at Disney used to have black Kyber crystals in the red holocrons, but then they had to stop doing that, because people would buy them or break them open to try and get the black crystals all the time.
Jeez.
Which I really want a black Kyber crystal though, but you can get them on Etsy, I believe.
Oh, cool.
Shout out to Etsy stores for making dreams come true. So their hyper cannon is powered by the Kyber crystal, which is a big deal, and also makes me wonder if maybe the Death Star and the Star Destroyers in all the movies are also powered by Kyber crystals and just never talks about, because we really don't know where they get their energy source from. But if you're destroying a whole planet and you're destroying a whole star, you've got to pull power from somewhere, and it's got to be a giant Kyber crystal. It can't just be one that's lightsaber size. to be pulling that energy from. So then do you have to be a Sith Lord to make that work? Thoughts, opinions, questions. So a lot to go with Kyber Crystals. Really love this. So you have Master Am, who's the girl twin, played by Alison Brie. And she says she wants to bring order to the galaxy. Classic Sith line. Join me and together we can rule the galaxy. Join me and together we can bring balance to the universe. I mean, every Sith Lord has said that at one point or another to get someone to join them, and it normally doesn't work. And surprise, surprise, we see this. It's a familial relationship, and it doesn't work. So they're twins created through the power of the Sith. Flashback, we get, and like I said, it's like the Snoke Palpatine clones that we see in Rise of Skywalker. Their suits are also powered by the dark side, is what they say, which is, it's powered by Kyber crystals, which is a big deal. And we see that with, Am shoving the giant Kyber crystal in her suit, and it's like, ooh, girl. Yeah. Ooh, girl, that's too much. Hey, that's too much.
Maybe the smaller one your brother took, dude.
Tone it down. Yeah, like, have you ever overpowered a socket when you're trying to plug something in? That's how you explode your phone.
Don't want to explode your
Don't
body.
do that. Yeah. Ooh, not great. I said Car's a cute little kid. And
I love him.
I love that he... It almost feels like the Rise of the Resistance ride at Galaxy's Edge, which is my favorite ride in the world. But, so it's like basically you're trying to get away with these plans. Kylo's chasing you down. Things get exploded. You're in space. You're having a drop. You're shooting out through a ship. And this kind of follows that same vibe. So it made me wonder if maybe they had rode that or something and they took vibes from it, because it literally is the best theme park attraction in the world right now. It is the coolest thing you will ever see or ride. They say they're going to a galaxy. Lord, are you squeaking?
I think I am squeaking.
Stop! You're creating editing issues for me.
It's not intentional. I'm trying to be comfortable. I've been on my feet all day. I come home and slave over salmon for my husband.
Whoa.
And I'm just trying to sit and listen to Star Wars. Be nice to me.
You're not gonna be able to hear Star Wars over squeaks that are so loud.
I can't do it anymore. I went down further, so
no,
it
I was like, it stopped. That's funny. So they asked like Car, where are you going? He's like, to a galaxy far, far away. I was like, that's really on the nose.
I like
okay. Classic Star Wars line. He yells, punch it, when he's in the X-Wing. Also, how did he get an X-Wing? X-Wings are like notorious rebel ships, so it's really interesting that he's in an X-Wing and not a TIE fighter. But he yells punch it. It's a classic thing. You know how many times when I rode the Smuggler's ride at Disney, and that's basically when you get to captain the Millennium Falcon, I was like, punch it, I'm gonna punch it. I'm sure everybody else was really annoyed, but I was living the dream. And then like he follows it right up with, I do have a bad feeling about this. And I was like, dang, these writers are trying to get every Star Wars quote in the book in this like 13-minute episode right now. So Am grabs the X-Wing like with the Force, which is really cool because we only see that also in Rise of Skywalker. So it's really interesting that they're pulling from the newer titles. I don't know if maybe they were advised to do that. But that's when we see like Rey and Kylo pulling one of the ships that captured Chewie. And that's when all of a sudden Rey uses Force Lightning, which is notoriously Sith. So it's giving hint to that she's Rey Palpatine. But then it explodes the ship and we think Chewie died. But this is the same kind of vibes here. Force pulling ships was never seen until like this. Until Rise of Skywalker. So you get the tug of war going. Let's see. Car thinks the crystal only brings despair. It's not wrong. It's kind of like the gray Jedi thing. Like, with this, is it too much power for a person to have? But then you also have to think of like, it's like when we talk about Full Metal Alchemist, alkahisty and alchemy. Like, alkahisty is like the healthier version, more about life balance and the circle of life. And that's kind of where Grey Jedi and original Jedi were at. But, over time with power comes corruption. So Kyber crystals are in the middle of that battle and the beliefs. So then I just wrote, that is a huge Kyber crystal. What the heck? Like, I mean, when we see Kyber crystals, like, even in the caves, like, they're small and they're sparkly. And I think we do see some, I mean, I'm trying to pull back to, like, memory from, like, 2006. But I think we do see some big, like, stalactite Kyber crystals in a cave. But it would have been cool if we got a Luke and Leia story like this, is what I'm thinking. Like, those are the famous twins of Star Wars, is Luke and Leia. And this one, I almost feel like had more familial depth than what we got with Luke and Leia. I know that's part of the storyline, is that they didn't know they were siblings. Well, they didn't know they were twins to save them from their dad.
They did say at the beginning of this that Am and Car had been separated their whole lives, right? Like, they had been...
Did they?
I
don't
were raised
remember that.
by different... I might be crazy. I did read this, so maybe it's different that way too. I don't know. But I swear at the beginning it said that they were raised on those two different sides of the ship, so they didn't know each other. Like, she was on one side and he was on the other, and that's how they turned out so different. So this might have been the first time that they ever met face to face.
Okay, well then that lines up with classic Star Wars twin stuff. But I don't remember. I might have been looking down and writing notes doing that. I don't remember seeing that.
The best thing about watching things in Japanese is that it forces you to watch the episode and then stop and write your notes, which sucks, but it also is nice because you're just so engaged.
Yeah. My favorite thing is lightsaber whips. Like, what?
So dope.
Because normally the blade is like a solid blade, but I've never seen them bendable. So that was really cool.
There's just something about a standalone, good old-fashioned lightsaber whenever someone's coming at you with, like, crazy stuff that just really...
Yeah.
Like, whenever he's just there with his lightsaber holding her off on her whips, my heart was just like, yeah, Car, like, get it, man. Yeah. Like, you gotta root for the underdog.
I also love when Car pulled out his lightsaber, it was blue. I was like, oh, not a Sith, even though they're raised by them. Yeah, best boy, good boy. I love blue lightsabers, even though some people make fun of me for choosing blue.
I just wouldn't have chosen blue, that's it. I probably would have chosen green because...
Blue is clearly my favorite color. My hair is even
Jedi
blue.
is Qui-Gon Jinn, so I probably would have chosen green.
Okay.
But that's just me. He did get cut
Qui-Gon Jinn's awesome.
So he is not the one to support, probably.
I'll talk about Qui-Gon Jinn in another episode that we watched.
I love Qui-Gon Jinn
because we're gonna talk about some lore that I really love. I said people. So Car's hair is blowing in space like this, which is fun because Star Wars always has space issues because the laws of space apparently are the same in Star Wars as here. But then they break them. And so, like, the hair...
That just drove me insane about the space thing is both of the twins were out in space without a helmet. And then the robot comes out with a helmet on. And I was like, huh.
I think they were maybe purposefully making fun for that moment. Because I was like, the humans don't have helmets on. But the droid did. Who does not have
I was just going to let it be until the droid came out with the helmet on, and I was like, okay, something's off here. We don't like this. I did like it. It was funny. Yeah,
I definitely wrote that. I was like, that droid wears a helmet? But I think it also kind of was like poking fun, because I mean, this is clearly a heavy sequel-inspired episode. People had a lot of issues with Space Leia, or as they called her, Mary Poppins Leia.
I mean,
and, like,
she was
in
super
space.
Mary Poppins.
She didn't die. She forced herself, like, over to the door. She did freeze, though. We did see her body freeze a little bit, and it's what ultimately led her demise. So it is interesting, because it doesn't follow that rule either. But, yeah, so Star Wars has issues with space laws. But, you know what? At least we're keeping it consistent. So, the consistent rule of no rules. One of my favorite quotes, don't live for someone else. As long as you're alive, you are free. You're free to choose your own destiny. which is super Star Warsy. I think something along the lines is said in one of the newest Star Wars games. I'm not a big gamer, so I this is where I fail, is I don't know a lot of Star Wars games. I would love to play them. I don't have a lot of consoles. I just got an Xbox 360 and I have an original Wii.
Will tried to
And I
play
have a
the
Switch,
newest
though.
one, and it was really not fun. I mean, I do play a lot of games. I play a lot of different games, and I will talk about those games. I don't think in this one. I think it's going to be in our second episode of this.
Okay.
Because I gotta get into some Persona 5 stuff. But I play a lot of different types of games. I think the controls in the new Star Wars, in particular,
Were hard.
they're weird because they're not, but they are.
Oh,
So, like, the
interesting.
mechanics are really
I've really only played,
basic.
like, Battlefront and Lego Star Wars.
Okay. Well, the mechanics of this are really basic. So, like, it tricks you into thinking, hey, this is going to be a really easy, fun game for you to play. It's going to be a lot of story, but still kind of challenging.
Yeah.
And then, after they give you all this basic mechanic, they don't really allow you to use them the way that you should be able to use them. So, like, the rules for them make them stupid. So it was really frustrating. I didn't get very far. Will didn't even get very far.
It's
and Will
okay.
plays tons of stuff.
I'm still stuck on level 1 of Lego Star Wars, so I totally understand your pain. I'm stuck on Endor. I can't get past this dumb tree. I don't know how to jump.
You just need to come play
well.
games with me, and then you can just watch me play the game for you, and then we'll be fine.
I'm a button masher. I panic. I hit all these buttons. But yeah, I play Lego Star Wars. It's normally a safer game for me, and I'm currently stuck on the first level.
Bridget.
Xbox 360, Lego Star Wars, or full. Yeah, so someone can get me off Endor.
I'll come help
Please
you.
help.
I'll help you.
Yeah. I'll pull my Xbox 360 out of the storage unit, and would you help me get past this level, please?
I will help you, Bridget. I will help you.
Okay, so back to me after I fail at video games. So we're almost at the end, and then we see the hyperdrive explosion when you go into hyperspace, which is just like Episode 8, Last Jedi, which I thought was really cool. That is one of the like most pivotal parts in that, other than the throne room fight, that I love. Like the hyperspace explosion, almost like sacrifice that we saw in Last Jedi, was huge. And like the sound of it, the looks of it, and so we had that basically repeated. And then it ends with Carr saying, "She's alive. I can feel it. After all, she's my twin sister." So that is two different straight up Leia and Luke quotes. Because Leia says, "He's alive. I can feel it." When Luke is like hanging off the bottom of Cloud City, lost his hand and saber, to learning that his daddy is Darth Vader. Leia goes and finds him. And then in the next movie, Leia says, "After all, he's my twin brother." When Han's like, "Oh, let me get out of your way. Clearly you and Luke have feelings." She's like, "Yes, we have feelings, but it's not like that." And then she's like, "He's my twin brother." And Han's just like, and so it's like exact same quotes. And I was like, they really, really pulled in hard on the Star Wars quotes. But I liked this episode. It was a cute episode. So that's all I've got. So what you got?
The voice actors for this were absolutely perfect in the sub. Immediately, I knew the voice of Carr, but I could not figure out for the life of me where it came from. And
yeah,
after watching it, I was like, okay, well, I know he's a best boy because he sounds like a best boy. And it's because he is a best boy. In fact, he is the very best boy. He plays, oh my gosh, where is it? He plays Yuji Itadori in Jujutsu Kaisen. He's the main character. He is the most lovable human that ever existed. He also plays Rengoku's little baby brother in the Demon Slayer movie.
Stop. I just watched the first episode of the Mugen Train arc, and a lot of feels. It's a prequel to Mugen Train the movie, and so you're just like, you know what happens, and you're just watching Rengoku be the best person, and you're like, and he ends the episode with like, "We will see each other again soon," and I was like,
well, his little baby brother was Car's voice. Also, he does the voice of Jack in Beastars, who I believe is Legoshi's best friend. I have not watched Beastars. It's on our list, so one day.
It's on our list.
Or Am. They called her in the dub.
Am.
But her voice actor's name is Ryoko Shiarcishi. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to all these voice actors. I know I'm ruining everything.
If they come on our show, we'll learn how to pronounce the name better.
And she was in, the only thing I really recognized her from was Sword Art Online. She played Yulir. She wasn't a huge character, but was a good character. And then B20N, B20N, that's a weird sounding name if you just say it really fast, was Tokiyoshi Kawashima, and he is Tony Trosadari in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable, which is my favorite JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, even though I haven't watched it yet. I have some manga, and I'm obsessed with Josuke. And he's also Castro in Hunter x Hunter, and he plays one of the guards in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood named Rydell, whose face I cannot remember, but we have seen him briefly. So this was done by Trigger. Trigger is an animation studio that was founded in 2011 as well, so it's only about 10 years old. It was founded by Hiroyuki Imashi, and oh my gosh, this next one I wrote it so ugly. It's so hard to read. Masashiko Atsutaka. Oh, okay. But Higoroshi Imasashi, he's the one that had the idea for this studio after he had like this really big success making Gurren Lagann. He used to work for Gigantics, which is like a huge studio. They did like Fooly Cooly and Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is like one of the biggest anime anythings of all time. So this is his studio after he went and worked on those, but they just got bought recently in like 2018 by another company called Ultra Super Pictures, but they still have a really promising future. They've made a couple of animes, nothing like super huge, but still super good, and it's really cool because all of them have this same like look, like the aesthetic of this company. Like I said, I knew exactly who made this anime when I looked at the still on Disney Plus. And they made Kill La Kill, which is excellent. Little Witch Academia, which is adorable, and Brand New Animal, which is actually a new Netflix anime. I've only watched like 5 or 6 episodes, but they're all incredibly solid. And of course, they made the anime movie Promare, which is so very gay and so very good. So good. And that's going to actually be in theaters at the end of November. It's playing for whatever that flashback movie thing is. So if you want to see it and you haven't seen it, it'll probably come to
like Flash for Evo.
A lot of people do it. They do it at Regal too, and I think at Cinemark.
For
you know what I'm talking about, right?
What's that called? You have to have certain projectors to do it.
I cannot for the life of me think of what it is. But
I want to say it starts with an F.
Every part of me wants to call Dana, but I can't. But anyway, it will be in theaters. It's like some flashback cinema thing. It's not very old. It was made in 2018. But it's excellent. Trigger makes good stuff. Fathom events.
Fathom events.
Thank you.
It was an F.
So if you...
Yes, G-Kids is releasing it back in theaters.
Everyone should watch it. It's not something that you can very easily find. Like, I bought a copy for Dana for like $40 at a very strange anime shop in Oregon. So, like, I had to like find it, and when I found it, it was the last copy, and I snatched the crap out of it. So, like, it's that good. Go watch it. It's got a lot of very relevant social issues. It's great. We love it. Trigger's great. This was a good episode. Great. It's my favorite.
Good. Good. Well, now we're going into episode 4, which is one of my favorites.
So good.
The Village Bride.
The summary for this episode is a Jedi on the run takes in the unique customs of a remote village under the threat of a warlord. That's it. Very good.
I don't know if I wrote any voice actors down on this.
Oh my goodness.
Let me see, because I think I just got really into it. So this is The Village Bride, Star Wars Visions. I didn't spell Visions right. IMDb. I wrote down someone's name, but I didn't write who they played or anything. Like, I think I got really sucked into this. But because it was a really good,
episode. Very good episode. I wrote down voice actors because they're from a lot of things, and I recognize them, which is nice. I'm starting to recognize Japanese voice actors too, baby. Let's get it.
That's nice.
I know. I'm having a good time. I'm having a little party over here.
So let's see. Karen Fukuhara is who I wrote down, who plays F. Oh, okay. So she's in Suicide Squad. And she's also in The Boys. So she's Katana in Suicide Squad. Okay. And she's Kimiko in The Boys. And she's also in She-Ra, the Netflix She-Ra show. She's Glimmer.
I love Glimmer. That's cool. She-Ra's a very good show.
And then
if you haven't watched it. I am a lover of cartoons.
I don't think I really knew anybody else. And that's why I didn't write it. Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat, it's played by Hiroyuki Tagawa. He's in here. And then Nicole Sakura, who is in... She's not in a lot of big things. She's in Superstore. Oh, she's in Superstore. She's Cheyenne. Oh my gosh, I love Cheyenne in Superstore.
I can't bring myself to watch Superstore since I work at HEB.
Oh, no, you would love it. I watched it when, back in the pre-COVID days with Draft House, and it was... I mean, you'll laugh so hard because you're like, finally, a show that absolutely calls out the craziness that we deal with.
I'll think about it.
You will love Superstore. It makes fun of more of Walmart style, but gosh, Superstore. So
well,
good.
Since we're on voice actors, let me get mine over with, because there's a lot of really good ones in here. F is played by Asami Seto, and she actually plays Nobara in Jujutsu Kaisen, who's one of like the main trio. Like every good anime that's like an action anime has like a main trio of people. And she's the girl in this trio, and she is absolutely outstanding. So, yay, Nobara, we love you, F. Good job. And then Itaru was played by Megumi Han, who plays Gon in Hunter x Hunter. He's the main character. So, like, very excellent voice actor right there. And then nope, you weren't important. I don't need you. I only have one more. Saku was played by, this one is a weird one, Maria Issei. I'm gonna say Issei, that sounds better to me. And she played Kahlua in Hunter x Hunter, who is Gon's best friend. So another huge thing. Okay. And also Rey in Promised Neverland. He is the most trash character, and I hate him. But he is one of the main 3 of Promised Neverland. So excellent voice actors. Good job. Dumbledore clap.
There we go. Dumbledore, stop it. Okay, so basically we start out like in this forest. We're introduced to F. I said this gives me a lot of Avatar vibes of Uncle and Zuko, also, which I really love.
This whole episode gave me a lot of Princess Mononoke vibes, too.
I wrote that.
Like, just that...
That's my third bullet point. Got some Mononoke vibes happening.
Like, everything about it. The way that they're dressed, the customs of the people, just the way that they appreciate the earth. Like, I was like, ooh, okay, Miyazaki, we get you.
I definitely think it had some homage to Miyazaki there, yeah. And they say one with the planet now, and I was thinking of Rogue one with the Force kind of thing. Then we see F. We don't really know who they are at this point. It's a girl wearing a mask, and they say it doesn't suit her. And so I'm like, is she a Sith Lord? Is she not a Sith Lord? Normally only Sith Lords wear masks. And then there's a guy carrying the bride up the mountain. It's very traditional culture is what we're looking at. They use the Force in a traditional ceremony. They are the forest, the sky, the river. They see the planet's memories. And it's really interesting. Like, it is super nature heavy for this village. The old man that is with her, that we assume might be her master, maybe just a mentor, not quite sure. He said an old friend had roots on this planet. And so I'm wondering if that's maybe like in reference to another Jedi or something. It's really interesting. So then we see some classic chaotic villains from Star Wars, Separatists. Separatists stripped them of their resources on this planet. They were exploited for war. That's all war is, nothing but loss. So that's a very heavy arc in Star Wars. People don't know, Star Wars is very political. The Separatists are definitely like money hungry. They will use you and dump you. They're the people that try and kill Padme in the first two movies, when she's the Queen of Naboo, and then the Senator of Naboo. But so yeah, you still see them wreaking havoc, and they're still using the Sith as a way to use power to force their rules upon people, and use their planets. So it's a kind of horror. They've reprogrammed droids, and they've started attacking villagers, and the village is aware. Saku is the sister, and they want to fight and stop this. They want to finally stand up to the droids and not just let them keep taking people, and especially when it ends up it's going to be her sister. In order to protect like the village leader, she's going to sacrifice herself, and her husband's going to go with her. Her new husband. They're like at a wedding ceremony. It gets really sad. What kind of wedding is full of mourning is the quote she says. And it's a big deal. It's like, it is this bittersweet thing. They're trying to continue life in their way, but you're seeing these outside forces ruin these customs and traditions of these peaceful people. Doesn't that sound familiar? So the mysterious girl has, what did I write? Has a code. Oh, she has a code. And we don't really know what it is yet. And it's interesting. And you don't know if it's like a code of the Jedi, a moral code for her own. And we see her floating the rock. And they say, do you have the Magina? Which, floating the rock is very pivotal in Star Wars. Luke did it. Luke had to float an X-Wing. And then in Mandalorian Season 2, we see Grogu floating the rock and floating a little shiny object when he's with Ahsoka. And Jin. Jin.
Jim.
The Mandalorian. The main Mandalorian we see, Jin. With D-G-I-N, I think. D-J-I-N. Not Jin. Okay. Anyway, it's almost 1 a.m. I'm guaranteed to mess up some names.
It's 106.
It's 1:06. Never mind. It is 1 a.m. And then here's a classic Star Wars quote. I've got a bad feeling about this. So, yeah. And so the Saku is watching this mysterious girl that we've seen in this mask out in the forest. And you're starting to wonder, like, are they going to team up? What's happening? Is this girl who's clearly powerful with the Force, like, is she going to put a stop to this? She's learning about the Separatists. Does she interfere? Because they weren't interfering with the customs of this village earlier. So we're just kind of watching from the sidelines at this point. I wrote down that the music is super John Williams fluty. He loves some flutes, and I really love this. My favorite thing, she cuts her Padawan braid. That is a huge deal. She cuts her Padawan braid, takes off her mask. So is her code, like, are the Jedi still alive? Separatists and Sith are clearly still a thing. Is she cutting her Padawan braid because she is done training and she's now a Jedi? Is she cutting her Padawan braid because she's stepping away? We don't know yet. So, they capture the sister. They capture, Saku and her team that was gonna fight the Separatists. And they're about to shoot her with a blaster, and then we get a very episode 7 Kylo Ren moment. She holds the blaster laser with the Force, which is really cool and really hard to do because you know how precise you got to catch it. It's really awesome. Love that. And so then she's gonna fight the Separatists. A quote I have written down: "The breath of life becomes wind and will always respond. And may the Force be with you." Super Star Warsy, and you know the Force, like I was talking about with like Kyber Crystals, is all about the circle of life, the balance. Everybody's connected to the Force. It's when you hear Yoda talk about the Force, it's what's in us. It's what we breathe. It is life itself. Is the Force. And so Jedi and people who are more Force sensitive are just more attuned to that. And I think anybody could be Force sensitive, but it's like, do you want to dedicate your life to meditating and finding that and being one with that universe?
It does.
Also, the ship looks like the Millennium Falcon, so that's kind of confusing. And I was like, where in the timeline is this? If that is the Millennium Falcon, I'm sure there's other ships that look like it, but I mean, like, we've never seen another ship that looks like the Millennium Falcon.
Exactly like the Millennium Falcon. Like, it started blowing up, and I was like, Han, no.
So it was really interesting, and so I wrote, like, what is this set? Best thing, she says, I am a Jedi, but I have theories, because she pulls it out, and it's a yellow blade. Woo-woo. Yellow blades are super rare. You don't see them very often, but yellow blades tend to be associated a lot with gray Jedi, so I'm wondering if, like, maybe the Jedi are already gone and past, and this is past the sequels, and, you know, she's just kind of studying old Jedi customs, kind of like what we wanted Rey to do and what Rey was doing, and we were hoping she was going to be a great Jedi. And so she cuts her Padawan braid, and I like to think that she's just cutting it because she's going to find this journey on her own, not necessarily follow the religious laws of the Jedi.
I like to think that she's cutting it just because her hair was annoying her that day, and she was like, I gotta go fight some people. I gotta do a quick chop.
Been there, done that. My hair's too hot. I'm cutting it all off.
I'm literally wearing a hat because I can't stand my hair right now, so here we are.
I wrote down that the blade is thin and pointed, like in the old trilogy. The way the blades were animated was super thin compared to like what I had and what the prequels had. But the hilts and everything, it looks like a samurai sword in the animation, which I really loved. And then, so she defeats the Separatists, she saves everybody, it's great, the village is back to peace, but the old man stays with the village, so, I kept calling him Uncle, because it reminded me so much of Avatar.
Uncle stays with the village, no.
Yeah, Uncle stays with the village. And there he's helping the villagers, like, rebuild, and she takes off in the ship. So it's a really cool and simple but great episode about their cultures, about finding balance in the Force, balance in the world, what the Jedi are supposed to be. They're not supposed to be interferers. They're supposed to be keepers of peace, but not until, like, something's happening. They're supposed to be the saviors of the downtrodden. But so that's why I really like Grey Jedi. It's like Jedi tend to be like, if you go like biblical times, like Pharisees almost is what they've turned into. And the Grey Jedi are like, you know, just like it's the relationship kind of thing, finding peace, being one with the earth, and respect for everything. So I think this episode pulled into a lot of that, and I really loved it. And it was really pretty, very Mononoke vibes.
Oh yeah,
very Zuko and Uncle vibes, and
it was just very familiar.
My cup of tea.
It was really nice and familiar, and part of the reason that is because it came from Kinema Citrus, which is a new studio. It was founded in 2008, but it was founded by these 3 dudes, right? I'm gonna struggle through their names so hard. Muneki Agawasawa. Yep. Yuichiro Matsuka and Misaki Tachibana, sorry. So the 3 of them came from Production IG and Bones Studio, Those are like the two
Okay.
big forces in anime. Like Production IG, they've been around since like 1987, and I'm pretty sure Bones came out in like 98. Like it was right after the other, and they kind of just blossomed off each other. But IG, they made Haiku, Ghost in the Shell, like Psychopaths, like just tons of big stuff.
Okay.
And then
I was like, I thought I had heard
Yeah,
of that one before.
they
That makes
do
sense.
everything. They're also really big into video games, but literally the next one is made by Production IG, so I'm gonna leave that there for a minute. And then they do a Bone Studio. They made Eureka 7, Soul Eater, Orin High School Host Club, Mob Psycho, Skate to the Infinity, Bungo Stray Dogs, and My Hero Academia. Like they make tons of huge stuff all the time. So
No wonder I love this, and it was felt emotional.
So this is a little
Love.
baby subsidiary company of those two giant companies. It's like those two giant companies had a baby, and here they are. And it hasn't made a whole lot of stuff yet because it is so little, but they have made two really good animes. They've got Black Bullet, which I believe is on Funimation, and they made The Rising of the Shield Hero, which is absolutely solid. I'm pretty sure season 2 or 3 is coming out for that very soon. But two very solid animes and like a future of 10,000 more, I hope, because good stuff. I loved this episode. It was really good. It was a good time.
It was a really good episode. It was really pretty too.
And her sword made me happy. Even though she was wearing high heels, that bothered me a little bit, but whatever. I can get over it.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, you're trekking through the forest in heels? Girl, what kind of bone structure do you have in your feet? Because mine would never. Mine would never.
The force. The force holds her out of her shoes.
She floats a little bit in her shoes. Yeah, wow. Wish I had that. Maybe I'd run better. So then that leads us into episode 5, the last episode for this, because we're splitting this bonus series into 2 parts, provisions. This is my favorite one. I think it has the best, like, cool storyline. I mean, Village Bride was my second favorite. They were really pulling. And then the 9th episode, what is that called? Akakiri was also really up there. But really, I think 9th Jedi pushed to the top. So that is this episode.
I can't wait to make you angry about Akakiri, but I'm gonna save that for later.
You stop. All right, so voice actors.
Oh wait, the summary. The daughter of a lightsaber smith is pursued by dark forces while on a dangerous mission. That's it. The end.
All right, so it was a nice little short, sweet summary. It doesn't spoil anything.
Thank you.
Kimiko Glenn, I love her.
Oh, I like her too.
She was in Orange is the New Black, but more importantly, she was in Waitress. I love Waitress. She sings my favorite song in Waitress.
That's a great song. If you're on gay anime TikTok, when she sees me, you all know. Or when he sees me, sorry. It's good.
When he sees me.
Good.
Ugh, love it. She plays La Cara, which I love that they say La, like that's traditional names. I don't know if it's for Japan or China, which is kind of ignorant of me, and I apologize.
I don't know. We would love to be educated. Let us know.
Please.
Well, I'll probably look it up after this, and we can just be educated together.
I will also look it up because it is not your responsibility to educate us. But I'm sorry for my ignorance. I just guilted myself real hard on this. And I just am on the first line. Next voice actor that's super prominent is Simu Liu, who plays La Zima, which is Shang-Chi, which love Shang-Chi. Gosh, that movie, I could talk for hours about how great that movie is. And those are the 2 big voice actors that I actually only wrote down
2. I did Kara. She's in Food Wars. She's Alice Nagari, which I love. She's a little weirdo. And she's also Katsumi Miwa in Jujutsu Kaisen, just the sweetest little cute girl. And then I wrote down Rodin. I tried to write down Ethan, but he's done nothing. But Rodin is Katsuya Nakai. And he has like 10,000 million credits, but mostly he was Zoro in One Piece. And One Piece is still going and will never stop. So he will be Zoro in One
will never end
Piece until he dies. Good for you. Good for you.
Good for you, man. Oh, I did have 2 more voice actors. I just found my note.
Go
I
ahead.
was like, I thought I did. The narrator, I didn't write down the actor's name because I got too excited, is All For One. The voice of All For One. And I was like,
Yes.
big deal right now. Big deal. And then Hiro from Heroes, who was like my favorite character in that show before the writer's strike happened and that show fell apart, is Masioka.
I love that.
Oh no, he plays Ethan. His name is Masioka. Sorry. But I loved Hiro and Heroes. Gotta save the cheerleader, save the world. Sorry, R.I.P. to Heroes, man. I was really invested in that
R.I.P.
show, and then the writer's strike happened, which, good for the writers. I support that. But that show definitely suffered because they didn't put it on hiatus, and they tried to go without the writers. And so many shows died during that. Let's see. So here we go. Ninth Jedi. Many generations have passed since the Jedi Order, now in war. Margrave J. I don't know why I wrote
Juro.
Is mine?
His name is Margrave
Okay,
Juro.
thank you. I was like, what? Oh, I have a question mark next to J because I think I was trying to write real fast
I got you.
and I missed it.
I got you.
They're mining for Kyber Crystals and seeks to restore the Jedi, but ancient Sith are hunting them down. Hunting down the Jedi to begin a new era of Sith rule. So classic. The Jedi are trying to come back. They've basically all been eliminated. Old Sith Lords are still kicking because they can clone themselves now, apparently. And they're going to try and wipe out the Jedi. So it's a sweet, like, dad and his daughter. They live on this planet. It's a pretty remote looking planet. They're making lightsabers because they've been mining Kyber crystals. And the Margrave is the one trying to reassemble the Jedi. So we see an aerial temple for the Jedi. The Jedi temples are a big deal. And so it's kind of cool because it's built on a meteor, which is fun. I don't think I've really seen that before, which is smart. It's like a floating, ever moving location so that it's harder to track down. And basically there was a transmission that went out to all Jedi saying to meet at this aerial temple. That is where we're gonna I'm gonna have lightsabers for you, because basically people haven't seen lightsabers in ages. And it feels a lot like episode 3 Order 66 kind of trap, when they're like, hey, all Jedi come to the temple, and any Jedi that weren't killed by the Order were gonna be slaughtered there. It's the connection to your Force determines the color and length of your lightsaber through the Kyber crystal, which is cool because you don't ever hear the length one very much. And we kind of got a hint of, they talked about it in the books back in the day that are no longer canon, but we got to kind of see it, but it wasn't like physically addressed or like talked about in Rise of Skywalker, because when Rey has her lightsaber, it's really long because she's like shorter, but then when she Force puts it behind and Kylo pulls it out, like you can see it adjust sizes for them because they're 2 very different sized people. So it's all about your Force sensitivity. The Kyber crystal, like I said, is a Force sensitive crystal. And so depending on your connection with it, which is really cool because that's why Cara, when she's playing around with the lightsaber, it's kind of translucent, but you can see that it's there for her, but she's had this safe childhood her whole life. So it's kind of almost feels like if you're a religious person, like when you live at home and you're under your parents' religion, it's safe, but you don't really have any life experience. You don't know what you believe. And so that's what Cara is about to go into. I'm
nodding at him that it's safe to use the kitchen. It's okay.
I was like, what are these eyes happening?
He's moving very slowly and quietly because he's a gem of a human. Please continue.
Oh, sweet Will. So hers is kind of colorless, and it's almost like a blackish gray kind of blade. And so when basically these Imperial people, droids, and sent out by the Sith are coming to get her dad. And so her dad packs up all the lightsabers, sends her away, basically knowing he's going to die, which is really sad, but then sends her away and is like, hey, you've got to go to the temple. You've got to make this happen. This is bigger than the both of us. And says, and says, be careful, may the force be with you. Classic Star Wars moment. It's, like a, Godspeed kind of saying. So the music is really similar to the new trilogy theme. It's very, very close to Rey's theme in the sequels, which I really like Rey's theme. So that was a nice little note. My favorite is she's going to the droid. She's like, "Hey, I need you to fly me on this ship to the Jedi Temple." And his only thing he says is, "I'm on my break." And I was like, and he's sipping tea, and I was like, "You leave that droid alone. He is on his break." I like sided with the wrong person in that moment.
Okay, sometimes your break can be postponed.
Sometimes you've been working way too long of shifts. You only get a 30-minute break, even though you've done an 8-hour shift. And so you leave that droid alone to sip their tea and have their break. So I realized I sided on the wrong side there, and I was like, "Whoa, what is retail done to me?" I was like, "Yeah, you leave him alone. It's his break."
But while all of this is happening in the temple, there are 7 supposed Jedis waiting with this robot for Margrave to show up. And the robot pulls out this lightsaber, and everyone's like, "Ooh, the lightsaber!" And they hand it to this dude, Ethan, which is the most freaking milquetoast name ever of anyone in Star Wars. In
La Cara, La
and they hand Ethan the lightsaber, and he uses the lightsaber. It's a blue lightsaber, and everyone's like, "Ooh, cool, Ethan, good job." I just wanted to catch everyone up.
Good job, Ethan. You're a good guy. Yes, you are correct. I missed all of that.
You're upset about the robot. I understand.
I understand. So he needs his break. Basically, so they go. It's on a piece of jalopy, slowly go into this aerial temple. And so she goes there with the saber. She's like, "Oh, you're the Jedi. The Margrave's supposed to be here. Oh my gosh, yay! They're after me. They're coming. And Ethan's got his blue saber. Everybody else grabs the saber, and you think they're all the Jedi that were called that the Margrave sent this beacon to, and all the sabers
such a good twist, because I really thought Margrave was going to be the bad guy. Caps. I was like, oh no, he's going to come and kill all these dudes,
right? You kind of think. What a twist. So then there's this, what's it called? This droid that's there and is talking to them. And then all of a sudden the droid opens up and the Margrave was there the whole time. And it was a trap to lure out the Sith to see who was trying to kill all the Jedi. They were all secret Sith. I love in the Margrave's hand, the lightsaber went from red to green. And then it was blue. And so you're seeing the Kyber crystal change based who's holding the lightsaber, which I love, because that's what I'm talking about with Kyber crystals, the flow of energy, the flow of the force. It's all based on you. And so you see Kara's is still kind of blackish green, but then when she's in that fight and she's her and Ethan are helping defend the Margrave from all these surprise Sith Lords, hers turns solid green. I'm like, yes, girl, real life experience. I'm sorry you had to lose your dad, but look at you shine and become one with the Force. You are solidified. The Kyber crystal's like, girl, you got this. Let's do this. And she gets a green saber. And I was like, oh, yes. And then we see, another Sith uses Sith lightning, which is a big deal in fighting. It's super way of cheating, unless you're, well, I was going to say, unless you're Samuel L. Jackson, you reflect it back, but then, Anakin cuts your hand off, and it's this whole thing. That's why you should parent better and not neglect the child, and maybe they won't have confusing and sway towards the Sith. That's another conversation for our spin-off show, why episode 3 is the best.
Oh, I thought it was parenting advice with Bridget.
Yes, parenting advice with Bridget, who does not have a child, and it's all based on Star Wars films.
Yes, I like this for us. This is good.
Book coming to you soon at Half Price Books, probably.
It was returned. It was just the one copy.
It was returned. It's only one copy. It's not even bound. It's just got a big old clip on it. So, don't lose a page or else, pivotal life thing.
And gone. Not a binder clip, a chip clip.
Chip clip, exactly. An HEB chip clip. So if you're tired, magnetize it onto that fridge right there.
Love it.
And so then you see, like, I was trying to figure out what was happening, like if it was a force shield when that person falls. And so that person falls and it cracks. And I'm like, is this glass? And then he burns up. And I realize, which this is a Jedi aerial temple, because it is one giant Kyber crystal. And so that's why they're mining. That's why they can keep making this. The whole temple is a Kyber crystal. And so when that person fell there and they burned up, it was because of like when a lightsaber burns you. Freaking awesome. I was like, oh my
The
gosh!
end
It was
shot
so cool.
of this episode when they're like backing out and then they turn the temple upside down and it's just a lightsaber was so good.
So pretty.
It was
So
perfect.
then we see one of the Sith Lords. You can see the sway that the Sith have over people, because the Margrave walks up to him and is like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're not evil. Like, what's wrong with you?" And he says, I was consumed by their evil, and his lightsaber turns from red to purple. So I love that you can't lie with the Kyber crystal. Like, your heart is there. And so not all the Jedi are dead. The Margrave says he can still sense them. And so basically they're going to go on a mission. They took Kara's dad. Her dad's not dead. And so she's like, I need you to help me. I need you to help me. My dad did all of this for us. We have to save him. And the Margrave's like, hey, in order to like be a full Jedi like council and be able to like even think about taking this on, I need a 9th Jedi. And Kara is asked to be the 9th Jedi. Praise be.
So
I love
good.
this.
So good.
And so, yeah, the meteor, then you get that amazing shot that you were just talking about where the meteor flips upside down and it's a giant lightsaber. The rock was a giant Kyber crystal the whole time. That's why the dude burned up when he touched it. And that's how it ends. It's just the giant lightsaber. Kara's the 9th Jedi. They're going to go get her dad. I need this to be a spin-off show.
I would watch the crap out of it. But do you want to know the reason why it's so good? Because it was done by Production IG. The megamind of all megamind, great things. And they just do everything.
So
and the cool part, well, hold on. I'll get to that. Hold on. Okay. It was founded in 1987, December 15th, by this name again. This one, I think this one's the worst one on the list. It's Mitsuhisa Ishikawa. Ishikawa is fine. I'm just going to say Ishikawa. And then his partner, Gato. I'm not even going to try to say his first name. His last name is Gato. And IG is actually their names. That's why it's like that. But it also stands for 2 words. One, the I is Itsuno, which means always. And then G is Ginki, which means happy. So it's production always happy, which is really cute.
Aww, I love that.
But the reason that they're so good at doing all these like big action sequences is because they do cutscenes for a lot of like anime-based video games. So they did the Xenoblade Chronicles, Final Fantasy, and my ultimate favorite game of all time, Persona 5. So, and they're doing all of the cutscenes, I believe they're doing all the cutscenes for the new Shin Megami Tensei that's coming out next month, which I will be playing and crying about for probably another 300 hours. So, here we are. But that's all I got on that. I already told you everything that came from this wonderful, wonderful company. Just know that they're fantastic and they will continue to make good things.
I loved it. Like, this was the one, this is why it became my favorite, because it's like, I want to see more. And that's why the last episode also kind of almost was there, because I wanted to see more. But this one, like, so easily could have been a pilot episode to an amazing series.
I think the coolest part about this series is that it's so hard to make standalone shorts and have them feel rich and fulfilled and like they're a full story. And every single one of these has a really solid storyline, a cast of great and well-played characters. They're all beautiful, and they all have a really good resolved ending, even though they're still open for more. It's just they do such a good job telling a complete story in 13 minutes. Like, I think the longest one is 22 minutes, right?
This last... Yeah, I think so. And this last episode felt like it could have been a whole feature-length, like, TV series. Like, they packed a lot in without feeling too rushed. Like, I was emotionally invested. They had great twists and turns. It was really pretty. It was funny at times. The music was great. Like,
it all felt...
This one was so good.
Like something completely different, but it was also just so very familiar and wonderful. And like I said, I really can't give this any better praise other than the fact that I don't like Star Wars and I love this series.
Hey, maybe that's changing now. We're getting you into deep Star Wars lore where you're not just going to have to know about those blockbusters. You're going to get to learn about all these cool, like, Sith, like, lords that are awesome females. If you learn General Grievous's backstory, it's one of the coolest things. It makes him like one of the most terrifying villains. And why I was kind of sad that in episode 3 he like his story was so short, because in the like animated series in between 2 and 3, like he's the big bad and he's killing people. And when he took the Chancellor, it's a huge deal. Like the whole government's gonna fall. And you know, Palpatine had to have him killed off because his goal was to get Anakin now as his next. Like, it was Dooku, Grievous, then him.
We'll see.
Like,
I don't know if I'm that far in yet.
So
I had a really good time.
Well, I'll try not to overwhelm you. But I think you'll love the TV series of Star Wars because they get to play with things like that and not have to worry about, you know, blockbuster numbers. Because if you don't know about movie theaters are super politics heavy. I mean, there's a lot that goes into a movie. I respect them, but I mean, you could definitely have a lot more freedom with TV, which is why I think Mandalorian is so good and so popular right now, because they're really exploring miniseries with Star Wars lore. So that was episode 1 through 5. There's 9 episodes of Star Wars Visions, so we'll cover episode 6, Toby.
It's my dad's name. It was whenever they said it, I was
episode
just like,
7, The Elder.
So good.
It was a cute episode too. So, episode 8, Lop and Ocho, which is a very different episode, and I really liked it, but very different Star Wars feel. And then episode 9, Akakiri, which was also really good. Man, it's really great. I love Star Wars Visions. I think it just is so different. I love that they took a risk letting, you know, anime studios. Everybody always wants to play with Star Wars, and Star Wars is so protective of Star Wars. That's why
anime is like the ultimate platform. But you can do anything in anime, so it makes sense to give them something like Star Wars. Because if anyone's gonna actually give you something new, it's gonna be anime. Like, come on.
And a lot of animes respect, like, you know, those big properties that have like a big lore to the back of them. They respect storylines,
and they pay attention to all of the
They really
details.
push boundaries on animation stuff now. Yeah, which is so crazy that I'm only like respecting this and knowing this like maybe like less than a year now. But this is the point of our podcast, is to help people bridge that gap. And I think also Star Wars teaming up with animation studios and doing anime is a huge like gateway bridge too, because that's a whole different community branching into a Star Wars community, and both of those tend to be really gatekeeping. And so would love to break both of that. And that's all I got for now, because I could keep talking, and we're at 2 hours.
This was great. I know. I'm very glad that we watched this. I've enjoyed it a lot. Honestly, I give the whole thing a 10 out of 10.
Me too.
It's a perfect anthology. It's very good. If you don't like Star Wars, or you're unsure about anime, I don't like Star Wars, and I would watch this again. I probably will, because Will hasn't watched it yet, so I will watch it with him. And it's definitely worth it. And they're short. They're really short. So don't let it hold you back.
Yeah. Longest is 22 episodes, and I think it's
Yeah,
only
so
one, and the rest are more averaging
22
around
minutes.
13.
They're really short.
22
like,
episodes, I
watched
meant minutes. Minutes.
all of them
Minutes. Sorry. Yeah.
in, like, what, 4 hours? No, 3 hours. Not even. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think it takes that long. I think
So.
I got them all done in like an hour and a half, and I just back to back to back. But yeah, so I think we'll end the episode here, and
next week, I guess.
We'll
have week after.
Yeah, next week part.
Okay.
Next week part 2 will be released. We'll record it sometime this week. But basically, we love anime and we love you,
and we kind of like Star Wars now.
I love Star Wars, and may the Force be with you.
And also with you.
Bye!